commencement. Before we begin, I ask you to join me in a moment of silence for those men and women who have served and are serving our country overseas and across the U.S. Thank you. It is my honor to introduce to you the individuals seated on this stage. From your left to right, they are Vice President of Instruction and Student Services, Darlene Schottel, Major Jason Curtis, Regent Bob Nystuen, FVCC Trustees, Callie Langer, Mark Holston, and Shannon Lund. It has been 50 years since a visionary group of 5 individuals gathered around a kitchen table to talk about the need for a college in our valley. Their dream to provide access to education and training to citizens of Northwest Montana. 50 years later, their dream has been realized. Tonight, as we celebrate our 49th graduating class, and I have to say for the first time ever on our campus, isn't this awesome? We also celebrate a community that was courageous enough to support the vision of our founders to change lives for the better. Tonight we celebrate 379 students who will be receiving their degrees and certificates. We honor our graduates and your accomplishments. You all have worked hard, and many of you attended FVCC while juggling your family and work responsibilities. Tonight you, your families, and your friends should be proud of your accomplishments. This is your first step on the road to lifelong learning. This path of education and knowledge will provide you with unlimited opportunities throughout your life. As the philosopher Krishnamurti said, if you know how to look and learn, then the door is there and the key is in your hand. Nobody on earth can give you either that key or the door to open except yourself. Every one of us sitting here tonight knows many people will stand in a doorway and talk for hours. Not everyone is able to step through. So tonight, graduates, I invite you to step through this doorway to a new beginning. This is your first step on the road to lifelong learning. On this path of education and knowledge, you have the key that will provide you with unlimited opportunities throughout your life. As you leave here tonight, remember that your FVCC education has provided you with the ability to be successful as you continue to pass through each new doorway. I am proud to serve as president of your community college, and I am privileged to watch you, our students, reach your goals and transform your lives. Congratulations to all of you, and I wish you great success as you begin your next endeavors. Now it is my pleasure to introduce our student speakers, Alex Olson and Kendra Jeske, Student Government Vice President and Business Officer. Please help me welcome Kendra and Alex.
Hello, faculty, friends, parents, dignified guests, and graduates. We would like to welcome you to the 2017 Flathead Valley Community College graduation. My name is Alex Olson. I grew up in Shelby, Montana, and currently live in Big Fork. Here at FVCC, I am what you call a non-traditional student. For all of you that don't know, that's a student over the age of 25, or in other words, a late bloomer. Tonight, I am graduating with a degree in business administration, and it sure has been a journey. During my time here, I've served as the Vice President of the Student Government, the Vice President of our local Phi Theta Kappa Honor Society chapter, and also served as an Executive Officer of the Greater Northwest region of Phi Theta Kappa Honor Society. As a part of these organizations, I had the opportunity to serve on many committees, speaking with committees and councils. Speaking with me tonight is someone who served with me on most of these organizations, committees, and councils. Her and I helped create the first ever Interclub Council here at FVCC, where she served with me as co-chairperson, Kendra Jeske.
Hello everyone! I was born and raised here in Kalispell, Montana, and tonight I'm graduating with an AS degree. I will transfer on to pursue an associate's degree in dental hygiene. During my time here at FVCC, I served on student government as a senator and business manager, treasurer of our local Phi Theta Kappa Honor Society. I was one of the 3 members on our tobacco-free task force, along with serving on many clubs and committees around campus. So to my fellow graduates and friends, it is an honor to speak to you all tonight. So here we are, getting ready to leave Flathead Valley Community College. It's been a journey. Whether it took 2 years or 4 years, we finished. Now the question is, where to from here? The answer to that question is as diverse as the students who make up this year's graduating class. Many of us know exactly what the next step is, whether it's an internship, transferring on, a full-time job, or even taking a break from school. So whether you know your next move or have no idea, we would like to leave these 3 key messages with you to take along your journey.
The first one of these 3 key messages is communication. Communication comes in many forms, especially in this modern age of technology. There are so many ways to communicate, whether it be through websites, emails, phones, one-on-one, or through some sort of speech like this one. Communication is key in every facet of our lives. It is not just talking to one another or relaying messages. It is not just emails, phone calls, or text messages. Communication is using the interpersonal communication skills we learned here at FVCC. It is understanding the many different personality types and knowing how to interact with each of them. It is listening to others and hearing what they have to say. It is working with each other to achieve our goals, and it is respecting each other, including ourselves. There are many different keys to good communication, and better we understand these, the better we will be at communicating. So knowing how important communication is in life, continue to improve on these skills and always communicate.
The next key message reminds me of something that Clint Eastwood once said. What you put into life is what you get out of it. What you put into life is what you get out of it, excuse me. College is definitely one of those things. If you didn't have the dedication, the time, or the effort to put into college, you wouldn't be sitting here right now with a degree or certificate. But don't stop now. Continue to chase your dreams. Burst out at the seams. Never stop trying. Never stop learning. Live life to the fullest and give it nothing but your best. So whether your next step is to pursue a job you enjoy, to take time off of school, or to continue on with your education, keep moving forward. Continue to get involved. Stay dedicated to your goals, and just remember, what you put into it is what you're going to get out of it.
The third and final key is to be yourself and always have fun. Most of us have goals, plans, or at least an idea of what we would like to do with our lives. Life is a journey, and you should enjoy it along the way. In the words of John Lennon in his song, "Beautiful Boy, Darling Boy," life is what happens while you are busy making plans. This quote is so true. Life will take us in many different directions along our journeys towards our goals. So as you go forward on your journeys, always remember that life is what happens along the way, and to always be yourself and have fun.
It always seems impossible until it's done, and what feels like the end is often a new beginning.
To everyone who touched our lives, we say thank you.
To the parents who stood by us no matter what.
To the teachers who instilled a passion for learning.
To our loved ones who have helped us along the way.
To the administrators who helped enrich our college experiences.
To the friends who were there for pizza parties, study sessions, and everything in between.
And to the advisors who helped us decide what path to take.
And to all the others we depend on.
Thank you to all who helped make this journey at Flathead Valley Community College a success.
And to the graduating class of 2017,
Congratulations.
Alex and Kendra, thank you for your insightful words and encouragement to the graduates. We wish you the very best. It is now my pleasure to introduce our faculty speaker. Our faculty speaker this year is Dr. Amy Pearson. She's an adjunct faculty member in the Humanities Division. Please join me in welcoming her to the stage.
Hello. First, I want to thank Dr. Karras and also Rich Haptonstall for asking me to do this tonight. I like doing this and I'm really excited to have this opportunity. So I've been teaching here at FVCC for the past year and a half. And my love for this place and my love for you students in particular and for the role this college plays in the community and the fact that we're celebrating 50 years this year makes this occasion one of particular note. Thank you for having me. I'm honored to be standing here right now with this view overlooking the mountains. Can't really see them right now. Speaking of mountains, let me tell you a little bit about me. I grew up on the plains of Montana, gazing at the Rockies over on the east side, north of Great Falls, where my family still farms. The last time I gave a commencement address was at my high school graduation in Conrad. And I remember the night before my speech, I threw all of my notes away because I wanted to say something deep and meaningful and directly from my heart. It went pretty well, but I teach public speaking here, so I have a bit of a conundrum on my hands in terms of telling you that I tossed away my notes. First, I don't know that as a professor I should necessarily promote winging it in the classroom, but on the other hand, I wholeheartedly believe in winging it. Now let me be clear, by winging it is not a substitute for things like hard work or thoughtfulness or preparation, for example. I don't want any confusion about my intentions. What I'm talking about here is just the truth that we shouldn't always just follow the scripts laid out in front of us or the ones that we sometimes even create for ourselves. But instead, we can use our heart, our intuition, and our mind to bring everything it is that we have to bear to every situation that we might find ourselves in. Because let's face it, life will rarely go as planned, and anyway, when it does, my sense is that we're probably missing out on some of the really interesting and meaningful stuff that pops up and makes life really quirky and wonderful. So I've got a few examples from my own experience that I'd like to share with you tonight. When I finished my doctorate in philosophy at Arizona State University, I was tired. I had done everything right. I got, graduated at the top of my class and perfect grades. I'd published essays in all the top tier journals. I spoke at conferences around the country, but I was tired. And my colleagues there were continually asking me, coming up to ask what it was that I really wanted to do. Because I guess they could tell that I wasn't necessarily digging this scene of academics that I was headed towards. So I was positioned to take a prestigious research position at a university somewhere, but I was fed up with things like my sense of internal politics and writing pieces of work that only a handful of people might understand or ever read. And also the life of a researcher is fraught with things like constant work and constant stress. And being from Montana, I knew better. My time spent in the mountains of Glacier National Park and on the prairies of the Eastern Front had taught me that there was more to life than money, and there was more to life than prestige, and there was more to life than work. So I hit the road, or rather the plane, and flew across the world to live and teach kids in Japan for 2 years. I winged it. Life in Japan was difficult. I did not speak the language when I arrived, and I was not used to being fervently on time for everything, and I was not used to making sure my tattoos were appropriately masked. I was also not used to being an outsider in a foreign land of foreign people where I was now the foreigner, tasked with fitting into a culture that highly values collectivity. I was failing at every turn, literally, and there were ongoing moments where I thought it might be best for the entire country and for me if I were to abandon ship and go back to the familiar. But my time spent in the mountains of Glacier National Park and on the prairies of the Eastern Front had taught me that there was more to life than feeling comfortable, and there was more to life than easy trails. So I winged it. I studied Japanese, I made the best friends of my life, I traveled around Asia, and I fell in love with my students and my teachers there. Leaving Japan was incredibly painful. I had made that place my home, and I was happy. But one thing I've noticed is that when it starts to feel too comfortable, there may not be a lot of growth happening, and it's time to make a change. I came back here, where I am from, to be with the mountains that had taught me everything. I was sitting outside the Bulldog Saloon one afternoon in Whitefish, a couple of months after I got back from Asia, and a woman approached me about working at the Isaac Walton Inn for the winter. On my first day of work there, I met a Forest Service fellow who told me about a remote fire lookout in the Bob Marshall Wilderness called Jumbo. Through a series of fortunate events then that I never in my wildest dreams could have planned for, I spent 98 days in the Montana wilderness, tracking fires, writing poetry, and romping around the woods on my days off. Also, during that time in solitude, I found myself pining for my students and asking the powers that be in the universe, or whatever it is that you call that, to lead me to you. I got to use this pen. Hiked 67 miles over 2 mountain passes. A grizz snarled loud, bolted off into the brush. It stood across the White River, at least 10 feet tall. No joke. Slept in a mule shed, huddled between 2 bales of hay and 3 propane tanks. Listened to the flutes at Indian Point all night long. Really, all night. In the morning, pulled on 2 wet socks, stuck them in 2 wet boots, ate half of a granola bar the mice had left. Got lost on Ahorn Creek. Got found on Ahorn Creek. Said hallelujah to the void. I once was lost, but then I got to Pearl Basin. Then I got to Jumbo Mountain. Then I got to use this pen. When I got out of the woods, I went on a vacation to try to figure out what it was that I was going to be doing next and where I would be doing it from. I have learned to trust the natural momentum of life, so when I got back to Montana and felt that familiar stirring in my soul, I knew that I was where I should be and that somehow things would work out. I winged it and I drove up to FVCC and they were looking for a communication professor. Right now, in this very moment, we're gathered at the foot of the most beautiful mountains in the world. And trust me, I know, because I've even seen the Himalayas. While I've been teaching you communication, you have been teaching me life. For many of you, being here at this ceremony was a lot like hiking to the top of Jumbo Mountain. You weren't really sure what you were in for, but you had a dream of the views you would get at 8,200 feet. You lost your way on a number of occasions. Your map was not sufficient. Your water was running low. The mice ate your rations. The river crossing was flooded and the bridge was washed out. And when you came across the biggest grizzly in the universe, you knew your bear spray was just not going to cut it. Maybe you winged it. You kept that view in mind and you proceeded. You gathered up all of your resources you could muster, identified your courage and fortitude, and put one foot in front of the other. And now, you're here. Look around. Listen, I know you're brilliant. I know because you have broken my heart and inspired me with your efforts. When you showed up to class without your rain jacket, not only did you grab a tarp, but you taught everybody else how to do so too. You have all the resiliency and smarts and skills that you need to move forward from here towards the next mountain and the next mountain, and because there will always be another jumbo. I was sitting in Sykes' diner the other day, doing my morning writing, when an older gentleman came over and handed me a piece of paper with this quote by Voltaire. I read, "The most dangerous person on earth is a person sitting at her writing desk." I know that for me, the pen and the classroom are the most potent tools I have on hand for making a positive impact in the world. Whatever your tools may be, whether they are scapulas or microscopes or numbers or welders or paintbrushes or whatever, I urge you to keep picking them up for the rest of your life in whatever means necessary. Follow your curiosities and your questions. And now I just leave you with a quote from Lookout Extraordinaire Edward Abbey, who said, "May your trails be crooked, winding, lonesome, dangerous, leading to the most amazing view. May your mountains rise into and above the clouds, where storms come and go and lightning clangs upon the high crags, where something strange and more beautiful and more full of wonder than your deepest dreams waits for you." And finally, some homework. Wing it.
Thank you, Dr. Pearson. And now I invite you to enjoy a selection by our FVCC orchestra.
Tonight, it is my great honor and pleasure to introduce our commencement speaker. Jason Curtis was born and raised in the Flathead Valley. He is a major in the United States Air Force and a combat-experienced F-16 fighter pilot. Major Curtis is an accomplished tactician and has flown F-16s in South Korea, Singapore, Italy, Afghanistan, Romania, and Libya. Representing 680,000 airmen to the American public, Jason recently served as Thunderbird number 5, the lead solo pilot for the United States Air Force Thunderbirds. And if you were lucky enough to see the Thunderbirds a few years ago, our own Major Curtis was in one of those cockpits. Major Curtis is currently a research fellow at Georgetown University and a political advisor at the United States Department of State in Washington, D.C. Focusing on international affairs, Jason's research concentration analyzes the U.S.-Asia-Pacific rebalance, where he recently returned from the South Pacific as a special envoy to Fiji, Papua New Guinea, Australia, and New Zealand. Jason attended FVCC from 1999 to 2000 and went on to earn a Bachelor of Science degree in Aeronautical Engineering from the United States Air Force Academy as a distinguished military graduate. Major Curtis is also a distinguished graduate from Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University, where he earned a Master's of Science in Aeronautics. Furthermore, he holds an honorary degree from Georgetown University as an alumnus of the Institute for the Study of Diplomacy. Jason was selected as a Presidential Leadership Scholar to join a cohort of national leaders tasked with addressing our nation's greatest challenges. He is fluent in Italian and currently volunteers with the Make-A-Wish Foundation, Wounded Warrior Project, and American Field Service. Jason is an outdoor enthusiast and active mentor for young adults both in Montana and Washington, D.C. Please help me welcome tonight's commencement speaker, someone who has served our country with distinction, has remained humble, and continues to give selflessly to help others succeed. I am very honored to welcome Major Jason Curtis.
Good evening. Man, talk about a packed tent. I think this is definitely at max capacity right now. Pretty awesome. Can everybody hear me in the back, including outside, back there? Thumbs up? Back over there? All right, good. How is everybody doing tonight? Man, I apologize, guys. It's been like 20 years of rock and roll straight and loud jet engine noise. I could barely hear that. Just want to know, how's everybody doing tonight? We doing all right? And graduates, how cool does it feel to put on this gown? Pretty special, right? I feel like a sorcerer or some sort of a magic wizard here. Graduates, take a look around you and look at all the love and support that has came out for you to help celebrate today. Graduates, let's go ahead and give them a round of applause. All right, so I realize that I am the only thing between you and your hard-earned degree. So I promise I'll make this quick. I'm talking 2 to 3 hours max, and then we'll be good to go. All right, you guys ready? Should we do it? Professors of the faculty, staff, board of trustees, President Karras, Regent Nystuen, family members, friends, and most importantly, the graduating class of 2017, congratulations on your achievement. Graduation implies closure, but as we assemble at this commencement ceremony, it's important to remember that commencement means to begin. So let us mark today as your beginning, a beginning to even greater victories, whatever you dare dream them to be. And as you begin this journey, I would like to share with you some thoughts that have proven helpful in my life. My first thought is on the power of our dreams. Growing up, I had a swing set in my backyard. I swung on it from an early age well into my youth. I used it relentlessly. Time on that swing was not merely to just play and have fun. No, something different was going on. That was my sacred time to imagine. My thoughts went as far as my wildest dreams could travel. In my mind, I was a professional athlete, a drummer in a rock and roll band, a fighter pilot, and even an astronaut. While swinging higher and higher, I remember dreaming about how exhilarating it would feel to take off in a fighter jet. I imagined the controlled explosion of thrust as the afterburner ignited. My body would become pressed against the seat as I accelerated straight up into the sky. I imagined looking over my shoulder and watching as the earth fell away out of my view. What would that dream feel like? What would all of these dreams feel like? I used that swing so much that I wore through the chain several times. This was a pretty unfortunate scenario if you imagine an uncoordinated 6-year-old kid launched into the air, not propelled by the rocket like I was dreaming about, but by the force of a broken swing. Indeed, it would have been nice to have a parachute strapped to my back like the one I carry in my jet now. Crashing back to reality, those falls were a stark reminder that I was not dreaming for dreaming's sake, but that I was concentrating my focus towards something much bigger than myself. A British philosopher named James Allen published an essay titled As a Man Thinketh. This novel has been foundational in my life. His writing was a dissertation asserting that every human being holds the key to each condition that enters their life, good, bad, or otherwise. The essay is not merely an expression of academia, but an action manual praising the mind as the principal architect that molds our thought and makes our dreams our reality. Make no mistake, it is a daunting task to create your dreams and then journey down the path towards their reality. Because of this, I encourage each of you to find your swing set, your dream laboratory, whatever that is, and spend time there. This is the beginning of your voyage towards a seemingly unachievable destination. Trust me on that. Allen wrote, by the virtue of the thoughts we choose to encourage, that our mind is the master weaver both of the inner garment of character and the outer garment of reality, unquote. As soon as you stop dreaming, you stop growing. You are college graduates now, and will soon become our community leaders. I challenge you to dream and shape the world that you want. My second thought is on understanding what it takes to succeed. I have learned that success always happens twice. First in your thoughts and second in reality. To illustrate my point, let me take you back to Venice, Italy in March of 2009. I was a young captain in the Air Force, flying F-16s and living a dream life in northern Italy with my beautiful wife and best friend, Larissa. That day, I was slated to accomplish a major flight examination and transformed from a wingman into the Air Force's next flight lead. For me, passing this test would mean that I was entrusted with leading other officers into combat, and more importantly, returning them home safely. Above all, I was hoping to gain the respect of my squadron mates as I successfully accomplished this challenging mission. The F-16 is a single-engine aircraft and relies almost solely on the speed from the thrust it generates. While the engine is robust and not prone to failure, the mere fact that there is only one demands constant concern from the pilot. I think of the engine like a fan keeping me cool on a hot summer day. If that engine were to ever quit, undoubtedly I would start to sweat profusely. Sure enough, I felt a loss of thrust that day and was flung forward in my harness straps. All of my gauges dropped to the floor and my jaw quickly followed. I knew I had a major problem. I quickly realized the main fuel line had severed and the engine, now permanently starved for fuel, was losing its life. My aircraft was falling out of the sky like a rock, and I had very little time to make a series of life-changing decisions. I elected not to eject out of concern for harming anyone on the ground, and decided to dead stick the aircraft to a runway. Unfortunately, the distance to the closest runway was great, and the altitude below me was disappearing quickly as I descended rapidly. Fortunately, my training kicked in, and I was able to maximize the glide ratio, drop my fuel tanks, extend my landing gear using emergency power, and gently touch down for a safe landing. After landing, though, my only concern was making sure that the fuel tanks I dropped didn't harm anyone on the ground. Trust me, that is a horrible burden to bear. I was relieved to find out that the first tank impacted in an open field. However, the second fuel tank broke through the roof of an Italian family's garage that was attached to their house. This fuel tank destroyed their car and decimated their entire wine collection that was stacked up in bottles on the back wall. Fortunately, no one was home. Looking back, I didn't certify as a flight lead that day, and it would become another couple of weeks before I would finally do so. However, success meant something different. I didn't have to eject, nobody on the ground was hurt, and I was able to recover my $30 million crippled aircraft. Success that day meant safely returning to Earth without any loss of life. Remember, as I mentioned earlier, that success always happens twice? This story was no different. Before ever taking off, there were hours of preparation spent studying academic materials, operations manuals, tactical handbooks, threat briefings, and technical orders. Putting it all together, I conducted a meticulous process of visualizing the flight through a practice known as chair flying. Simply put, I sat in a chair, just like you are right now, closed my eyes, and visualized every aspect of the flight, including all of the possible contingency scenarios. When my engine quit in reality, my mind had already rehearsed the entire emergency well beforehand. For me, chair flying was the true harbinger of success. Again, success always happens twice. First in your mind and second in reality. Not to be a Debbie Downer, but next I would like to share with you the power of failure. Failure happens, right? Become comfortable with that fact. Let me repeat, failure happens. While you may not enjoy it, at least embrace it and learn from it. I have come to understand that success and failure are not polar opposites. In fact, they are close relatives. The fear that most of us hold inside is that the more we experience failure, the farther away we are pulled from success. This could not be further from the truth. Success, contrary to popular belief, is buried underneath layers and layers of failure. It is only after we endeavor the arduous task of digging through these layers and find the meaning in them that we begin to unearth the mysterious true depths of success. To highlight this point, I humbly thank Dr. Karras for the warm introduction as I took the podium today. Indeed, I've been very fortunate to experience some amazing things in this world. However, the reality is that it took a large amount of failure to get there. Just to scratch the surface, I failed to achieve a successful score on the SATs 6 times in a row. I didn't pass numerous flights during pilot training and almost didn't fly fighter aircraft because I kept losing oxygen to my brain under 9 times the force of gravity. I weigh about 200 pounds, so it's like bench pressing 1,800 pounds and trying to remain conscious during that. It's a bear, trust me. I definitely didn't become a Thunderbird on my first try, and my astronaut application was flat out rejected. Furthermore, I could go on and on, but furthermore, I made it all the way to the last step of something called the White House Fellowship, only to be turned down at the last moment. Believe me, each one really stung at the time. So let me tell you the true redeeming thought behind all of these examples. If you transform your thinking of failure from the notion of failure is happening to us into the fact that failure is happening for us, not only will you radically improve your perspective on failure, but you will improve the quality of your life as well. Failure, that's right, something we may never want to have happen, actually ends up becoming a brilliant teacher. I learned something new about myself from each and every flop. The skills, knowledge, unique life experiences, and friends made from each journey have truly enriched my life. Concluding this thought, I humbly ask that each of you search for the meaning and significance in every setback that comes your way. Then, keep moving forward. Finally, I would like to share with you the power of our connection towards a greater purpose. Professors, I know that a major call to action for FVCC is to make this world a better place. I praise and respect this calling. I believe the only way we can do this is by utilizing the power of our connection to serve others. Only those who have lost themselves in serving humankind will truly experience life's deepest joy and true fulfillment. As FVCC recognizes, we have a lot of challenges in our world and our country today. Meeting these challenges starts right here with us in the Flathead Valley. A new era is unveiling before our eyes, and we find ourselves looking across a fissure of political and security fault lines. Many feel that our international system is dangerously unstable, and the polarization of our country is reaching critical mass. Amidst this turmoil, we see a virus of divisive rhetoric infecting portions of our world and reaching much closer to home than any of us care to admit. The perpetual peace and prosperity that we all dream of is quickly slipping out of our hands. In such circumstances, is our aspiration of overcoming these challenges to our unity hopeless? Absolutely not. We need not accept a view of doom and gloom. These challenges are immense, but rather than buckling under the load and retreating to a side, let us use the benevolent nature of our innate human spirit to bring this world back into balance. A couple of years ago, I had the pleasure of meeting a gentleman named Frank Borman. Frank Borman was the commander of the first mission to fly around the moon under the call sign of Apollo 8. Reflecting on his journey, he told me something like, "Jason, when you blast off on a rocket ship and you fly all the way to the moon, you get to look back at our beautiful Earth. You think about all of the differences between us, and those divisive traits pretty much just go away with a view like that." Unquote. From that perspective, you really grasp the comprehension that this is one world. While I've never been to the moon, I have looked down on our Earth from 49,000 feet in my jet, all by myself. I have felt that same feeling. Trust me, we are in this together, guys. I believe that we are all connected, and therefore we have obligations to one another. Obligations that stretch beyond our backyard fence, beyond those to whom we are related, and even beyond our ties of citizenship. People are different, no doubt, so let's take the time to learn from each other and not create boundaries between us. One of the most important things that great education provides, like the one you have earned here at FVCC, is an understanding of how to listen to new ideas, how to understand and reflect on what you have always believed, and how to objectively process what you are currently observing in our world today. In short, a great education teaches you how to think critically. FVCC has provided you with the tools to think beyond yourself. You are now ready to become catalysts for good and positive change agents to improve our world. I hope to inspire in you the simple idea that we need to enhance the awareness of our connection with one another, strangers included. We need to learn from our conversations and serve a purpose that is much greater than ourselves. As humans, we need each other. We are social beings, and we are not meant to operate in isolation. We thrive as a society when we feel connected to and supported by one another. Take this great gift that you have been given, this gift of critical thought, and use it to understand and peacefully change our world around you for the better. I'm here to reaffirm the human impulse that looks beyond our differences. I want to be a part of a world that looks above our affiliations, above our associations, and above any label placed upon us. To put it another way, casting a shadow over all identities I may carry, I want to be regarded as a human being. Human first. Please join me in this idea. To the graduating class of 2017, I commend you. You are moments away from becoming positive change agents in this world. Trust me, it will be a challenge to make your dreams your reality, and at times you may fail. But the action you take to connect us all through your selfless service will make this world a better place. Thank you.
Thank you, Major Curtis, in giving us those words and launching our students towards their dreams. And it's now time. Will the candidates for Associate of Arts, the Associate of Science, the Associate of Applied Science, and certificates please stand? Dr. Karras, on behalf of the faculty and Flathead Valley Community College, I am pleased to present these candidates for the associate degrees and certificates.
By the virtue of the authority of the Board of Trustees of Flathead Valley Community College, by law and upon recommendation of the faculty, I confer the Associate of Arts, the Associate of Science, the Associate of Applied Science degrees and certificates upon those who have successfully completed all fields in the requirements indicated. Will the marshals please escort the graduates to the stage? Yes, Stacy.
Kelsey Marie Husserman, Associate of Applied Science, Integrated Agriculture and Food Systems. Alexis K. Mitchell, Associate of Applied Science, Integrated Agriculture and Food Systems. Whitney Roberts Brown, Associate of Applied Science, Support Professional. Megan Marie Danford Commenda, Associate of Arts. Noah Josiah McDuffie, Associate of Science. Alexander S. Olson, Associate of Applied Science, Business Administration with honors. Kendra Nicole Jusky, Associate of Science. Sean Patrick Emerson, Associate of Applied Science, Business Administration. Sean Casey Vaughn, Associate of Applied Science, Small Business Management with honors. Regetta Sonja Okamoto, Associate of Applied Science, Small Business Management. Renee Marie Fredicelli, Associate of Applied Science, Small Business Management. Olga Vinogradova, Associate of Applied Science, Business Administration. Thomas Lee Lamar, Associate of Science. Christopher Stephen Puswarski, Associate of Arts with Honors.
Janelle Ray Howard, Associate of Applied Science, Medical Assistant. Brianna Reese, Associate of Applied Science, Medical Assistant. Emily Ann Gately, Associate of Applied Science, Medical Assistant. Jessica Rose Johnston, Associate of Arts. Shu Yang Peng, Associate of Applied Science, Practical Nursing. Zoa R. Phillips, Associate of Arts, Associate of Science with Honors. Nicholas Steele Bartlett, Associate of Arts, Associate of Science with Honors. Elizabeth Rose Zimmer, Associate of Science. Megan Rose Elman, Associate of Applied Science, Surgical Technology. Caitlin Marie Gardner, Associate of Applied Science, Surgical Technology. Sandra Eileen Baker, Associate of Applied Science, Natural Resource Conservation and Management. Stephanie Jo Cerise, Associate of Applied Science, Natural Resource Conservation and Management. Christopher Jonathan Alec, Associate of Applied Science, Natural Resource Conservation and Management. Emily Ann Miller, Associate of Applied Science, Accounting Technology.
Chantel Diane Gould, Associate of Applied Science, Medical Coding with Honors. Gracie Lynn Satori, Associate of Arts. Crystal Star Light, Associate of Science. Kayla Noel Hardgrove, Associate of Arts. Jeffrey Richard Holzer, Associate of Arts, Associate of Science. Dawn Marie Munsell, Associate of Applied Science, Practical Nursing. Heather Renee Kipper, Associate of Arts with Honors. Indigo Viola Ravander, Associate of Science. Jessica Rose Pearson, Associate of Science. Kristen Marie Hall, Associate of Applied Science, Accounting Technology with Honors. Jessica Robin Parker, Certificate of Applied Science, Graphic Design with Honors. Amber Rose Martin, Associate of Arts with Honors. Molly Whitewater Stroop, Associate of Applied Science, Accounting Technology, Associate of Applied Science, Business Administration, Associate of Applied Science, Business Management. Ty Robert Morgan, Associate of Science with honors. Connor Ray Bowman, Associate of Science with honors. Dalton Reese Hayden, Associate of Science with honors. Daniel Dennis Weigel, Associate of Science. Bailey Marie Brunton, Associate of Arts, Associate of Science with honors. Bridget Sweeney Unterreiner, Associate of Arts with honors.
Calvin Robert St. Peter, Certificate, Heavy Equipment Operator. Cody Ray Johnston, Certificate, Heavy Equipment Operator. Lex Robert Baker, Certificate, Heavy Equipment Operator. Ross Cole Stancher, Certificate, Heavy Equipment Operator. Lee Bethel, Certificate of Applied Science, Non-Destructive Testing with honors. Lori Michelle Bethel, Associate of Arts with honors. Travis J. Oak, Associate of Applied Science, Paramedicine. James E. Jeffrey, Associate of Science. Lana Lee Shipman, Associate of Arts. Brianne Louise Lockhart, Associate of Arts. Dolores E. Sharametta, Associate of Arts. Robert Lee Gambino, Associate of Applied Science, Brewing Science and Brewing Operations with honors. Hillary K. Robinson, Associate of Applied Science, Brewing Science and Brewery Operations. Alex James Jensen, Associate of Applied Science, Criminal Justice. Dustin James Johnson, Associate of Arts. Clayton David O'Farrell, Certificate, Heavy Equipment Operator. Luke Andrew Comstock, Associate of Arts, Associate of Applied Science, Graphic Design with honors. Christopher L. Van Orden, Associate of Applied Science, Graphic Design, Associate of Applied Science, Web Technology. Christina T. Cataliva, Associate of Applied Science, Graphic Design, Certificate of Applied Science, Graphic Design. Audra Louise Sandler, Associate of Applied Science, Graphic Design.
Haley Lynn Wybrother, Certificate of Applied Science, Graphic Design. Stephanie Jean Chamberlain, Associate of Applied Science, Graphic Design with honors. Attila Christina Tonjum, Associate of Applied Science, Graphic Design with honors. Matthew Michael Phelps, Associate of Applied Science, Industrial Maintenance with honors. Mark Douglas Lakes, Associate of Applied Science, Electronics Technician, Certificate Electronics Technician Tiers 1, 2, and 3. Casey Allen Buzzard, Associate of Applied Science, Electrical Technology. Emma Rose Flannery, Associate of Applied Science, Radiologic Technology. Kirsten Marie Hedges, Associate of Applied Science, Radiologic Technology. Emily Claire Livingston, Associate of Applied Science, Radiologic Technology. Meredith Maletta Reed, Associate of Applied Science, Radiologic Technology. Kyle Schoening, Associate of Applied Science, Surveying. Nicholas Ian Stamford Webb, Associate of Applied Science, Surveying. Daniel Taylor, Associate of Applied Science, Surveying. Hona Hawk, Associate of Applied Science, Surveying with honors. Samuel Thomas Vitek, Associate of Applied Science, Surveying. Paige Nicole Arlant, Associate of Applied Science, Practical Nursing. Tori Ann Cano, Associate of Applied Science, Practical Nursing. Melissa Joy McConnell, Associate of Applied Science, Practical Nursing.
Carissa Christensen, Associate of Applied Science, Practical Nursing. Jonathan Michael Huff, Associate of Science. Ryan David Dutter, Associate of Science. Trenton Michael Halstead, Associate of Applied Science, Web Technology, Associate of Science. Jandy Kirk Maxwell, Associate of Arts, Associate of Science. Bailey Ann McCarville, Associate of Arts. Seth Leroy Probert, Associate of Science. Austin Ryan Shima, Associate of Science. Kenneth Gregory Marchbanks, Associate of Applied Science, Surveying. Greg Christopher Dalton, Associate of Science with honors. Logan Andrew Connerly, Associate of Arts with honors. Micah S. Benson, Associate of Applied Science, Graphic Design. Tanner Luke Niewenholz, Associate of Science. Nicole Sachi Parabata Olga, Associate of Science with Honors. Eric Orland Smith, Associate of Arts. Andrew Jefferson Smith, Associate of Science.
Rachel Gail Sanders, Associate of Science. Lisa Rafael Jackson, Associate of Science. Michael John Thompson, Certificate Firearms Technology, Certificate Machine Technician, Tier 1 with honors. Christopher Michael Feller, Associate of Applied Science, Industrial Machine Technology with honors. Patrick Joseph Feller, Associate of Applied Science, Industrial Machine Technology with honors. Marlon Lee Koche, Associate of Applied Science, Industrial Machine Technology with honors. Max William Caffin, Associate of Applied Science, Industrial Machine Technology. Scott Russell Barnes, Associate of Applied Science, Welding and Inspection Technology with honors. Joshua Aaron Williams, Associate of Applied Science, Welding and Inspection Technology. Patrick James Wood, Associate of Applied Science, Welding and Inspection Technology with honors. Macaulay Matthew Nelson, Associate of Applied Science, Welding and Inspection Technology, Certificate of Applied Science, Welding and Fabrication Technology, Certificate of Welding and Fabrication Technology, Tier 1. Ashley May Hubbard, Associate of Applied Science, Welding and Inspection Technology, Certificate of Applied Science, Welding and Fabrication Technology, and Certificate of Welding and Fabrication Technology, Tier 1. Sheena Lachey Magers, Associate of Applied Science, Welding and Inspection Technology. Devin Andrew Decker, Associate of Applied Science, Welding and Fabrication Technology. Jonathan Ray Cunningham, Associate of Applied Science, Welding and Fabrication Technology. Raylene Sarah Ann Kearney, Associate of Science. Carly Jean Brown, Associate of Science with honors. Irie Noel Wong, Associate of Applied Science, Criminal Justice. Jamie Deanne Meyer, Associate of Science. Mackenzie Raylyn Lee, Associate of Applied Science, Criminal Justice with honors. Catherine Lee Schendel, Certificate, Pharmacy Technology. Christine K. Gonsorshik, Certificate of Pharmacy Technology.
Jennifer Ryan Van Swergen, Certificate, Pharmacy Technology. Certificate, Pharmacy Technology. Vladimir Pavlovich Kikliuk, Certificate, Heavy Equipment Operator. Michael Davis, Associate of Science. Regan Mackenzie Wanner, Associate of Science. Crystal Lynn Hunt, Associate of Arts. Sylvie Corval Wood, Certificate, Patient Relations Specialist, Certificate, Health Occupations. Daniel Kathleen Wendt, Associate of Arts. Lisa Ann Bell, Associate of Applied Science, Early Childhood Education with Honors. John P. Crandall, Associate of Applied Science, Practical Nursing. Jeff Joseph O'Neill, Associate of Applied Science, Information Technology. Sarah Levon Trikel, Associate of Applied Science, Healthcare Office Management. Audrey Lee Carroll, Associate of Arts.
Jana Linnell Stilwell, Associate of Applied Science, Practical Nursing. Arena Garrow, Associate of Applied Science, Practical Nursing. Cooper McGinnis Brown, a Certificate, Heavy Equipment Operator.
How about that? Let's give them all a round. I would like to thank the parents, the families, and most of all, congratulate our graduates.